Here's the entrance to the visitor center at the Norfolk Botanical Garden. I think the airport is behind us. All that jet noise. Visitors Center. We just made it for the hourly tram tour. Barely made it.
Pulling away from the visitor center here to start us off. What exactly a botanical garden is. So botanical gardens are areas of land that are specifically classified for their dedication to the collection, cultivation, and display of a wide variety of plants that you'll find all labeled with their scientific and common names. Generally focused on education, outreach, and nature conservation. It looks like we're racing our motor friends over there on our left. Welcome specifically to the Norfolk Botanical Garden. Our 175-acre campus is an accredited museum. We're home to over 90 individually themed gardens, most of which are marked on your map, but there are some secret gardens that's not marked. Really good for exploration. We have a lot of pathways. Only about 13 miles are even shown on your map, and those are only the paved and gravel paths, so definitely feel free to explore, maybe find some of those secret gardens. I'll even point one out at the very end of our tour. On our right, the Bicentennial Rose Garden, the second largest rose garden on the East Coast. And a little tiny baby goose on the left there, hanging out with his parents. So our rose garden is home to over 2,200 individual rose plants, covering over 600 unique cultivars or varieties of rose, both modern and heirloom. Modern roses were first hybridized in 1867, the first being a type of hybrid tea rose. Before that, you have what today is known as an heirloom rose or old garden rose. Now, hybridization efforts were different back then than they are today. Modern roses are hybridized more for that larger, showier flower, or heirloom roses were hybridized more for a unique-looking flower form and a stronger, more pleasant aroma. Kind of fun fact with that, anything you find with a true rose smell, like many high-end perfumes, that comes exclusively from an oil that gets extracted from the petals of a certain collection of the heirloom rose. And it can take about 70 petals just to make a single drop of that oil. If you explore our rose garden, feel free to grab one of the maps or the little laminated info sheets from the info boxes you'll find in it. They're kind of like a mini map of the rose garden. If possible, just try to remember to return them before you head out today, either to the boxes or the visitor center. We do only put a certain amount of those out every week. The crosswalk will pass over, it leads to a paved pathway to the top of the hill.
The farmer.
Up there you'll find a viewing platform at the airport with a radio box where you can listen to the pilot's control towers communicating. This is a garden called Mirror Lake. On your map it would be marked as number 1, that bottom orange area. In Mirror Lake you'll find about a 1 mile paved nature walk loop around the lake itself. A nice shaded, semi-naturalized portion of our campus. And back in the early 70s, a small portion of our campus, including some of the acreage of Mirror Lake, were reallocated to the airport for an expansion project they were doing. And that did have some of our azaleas, however, they were relocated to the Enchanted Forest as to preserve them, where they still are today. But we're going to be entering the rhododendron garden here. As we do, we'll kind of intermittently see these trees with the white 4-point star-shaped flowers. These are Virginia state champion tree, the flowering dogwood. This is a Cosa dogwood. If you were to take the brick pathways along the water to our right here, that will lead you into the healing garden. which has these little stone bridges over small ponds. You would also find the Purity Garden, Winter Garden, the Glade, which has some art on display. That's all going to be down the brick path to our right. Circling this brick building is going to be large collections of host and nectar plants for individual species of butterfly, such as along the road here. These are all going to attract monarch butterflies, like those deep purple ones. These are purple heart. And then tucked behind the building, we'll see like things like those torch lilies with a yellow and red flower. If you're walking out here and need a break, this brick building will have restrooms, water fountains, all that, so you don't have to end up walking all the way back to the visitor center. So we're going to start passing the Wildflower meadow on our left. A few of the things we're seeing include these orange flowers, which are California poppies. The clusters of kind of pink, yellow, and purple are dwarf snapdragons. Some of the blue ones are going to include things like baby blue eyes, the viney plants with the long red flowers are coral honeysuckle. I'd be here naming them all day if I had to list them all. And they kind of rotate throughout the year, as this is actually one of our hardest gardens to maintain. So to offer kind of an overall longer bloom cycle, from late spring to mid-autumn, we actually stagger the seeding times of the individual beds. So by the time the earlier planted beds are dying off, the later planted beds are just hitting full bloom. During our tour, these are oak leaf hydrangeas. Kind of unique with that cone-shaped cluster, and then also their flower color actually changes during its bloom time. So they went from being these little green buds to white flowers. After that, we'll see them turn kind of a light pink color, and then a dark crimson red before they end up starting to die off and deadhead. Crossing over Cobblestone Bridge, we'll get a little view of NATO Tower off to our right. You'll also see that large gray structure surrounding it. This is our desert garden. So sloping hills, very rocky soil. It's going to be all plants that require much lower water retention. So like cacti, sungrass, aloe plants. Re-entering the rose garden, we still have a few areas I want to mention. The next few gardens I list off will be over the other side of the canal there, off to our right. So kind of circling the gray structure of our desert garden along the edge of the canal is our subtropical garden. If you walk through there, you'll find things like Virginia's largest mimosa tree, as well as coastal redwoods, the tallest species of tree on the entire planet, as well as century agave with its kind of deceptive name. It doesn't bloom every century. It's closer to a decade, blooming about every 7 years. You'll actually see them at that fork in the water, that giant agave plant.
The one over there in the stage?
Olympiad roses.
How big are they?
The Grande Dame Rose.
picturesque. Wildflower garden. Wow, weeping cherry tree, it's huge.
It looks like it's weeping with all the...
The world of wonders for the kids. Going up NATO Tower. Hot lips sage. It even looks like a flower. The shape. Here's part of the way up. The view. Nice. Alright. Let's go up to the top level. The breeze, you can feel this platform shaking just a little bit. Nothing to be worried about. Just feels like somebody's jumping on it a little bit with their feet. Alright, let's go down. Another angle of the Napa Tower. Goodbye for now, Norfolk Botanical Garden. Glad we caught it with full bloom roses.